Hello, everybody. I want to thank you for tuning in to Still City Sports World. I'm your host, Luther Dupree. I got my partner, Mike Migliore, in the house with us. Got a great show planned for you. Make sure you give us a call, 412-231-2288. A lot of things going on. We're going to hit all the topics. Make sure you give us a call or on Facebook. But Mike, starting it off, what's on your mind? What do you want to talk about today?
All I got to do is I'm going to ask just a simple question. I'm not going to give you my answer myself. You can either answer it to yourself, or if you want to call in, tell me the answer that way. My question is, do you think it's a coincidence that the Pirates open their season on April Fool's Day?
All right. You know what, Mike? You bring up the Pirates. Man, this just gets worse and worse and worse. Ever since they had that 90 games, nothing has happened. It's just back to the same old, same old. I can't even name too many players on the team, Mike. What is going on there?
The fact is they have good players. They have a garbage manager and a garbage coaching staff and a really garbage owner, but they have some decent players. If they get some other players in there to complement them, they could do something.
Who's the decent players? They traded all of them, I thought.
Gung's not too bad. Marte's not too bad.
Can he stay out of trouble, though?
Well,
that's another thing.
I said they're decent players. I didn't say they were decent human beings.
Yeah, you
get spend a couple of dollars, get a couple more guys in there, and you can do okay.
You know what? This is baseball. You need more than just one or two or three or a decent pitching staff. You have to spend money. When you look at the payroll, once again, the Pirates are at the bottom, which is pretty much where they're going to be during the season. Right. They don't want to spend any money. And that's the same thing we've been saying.
Right. They don't want to spend any money. They're not going to spend any money. And they're not going to sell the team because they make a ton of money at the end of the season with the luxury tax. That's why he's keeping the team for – as soon as they cut off a luxury tax, he'll sell that team to me for what I have in my pocket.
Hey, you know what, Mike? I want to send a shout-out. Claudio said he was going to be sick. He's definitely down with strep throat or whatever is going on with his situation. Yeah. Hope you get better. Smoking Jim is – in the wind somewhere. Something's always up with him. But he should be coming in. I want to talk about boxing. Errol Spence, we do have some clips of Errol Spence. He's one of the top boxers out right now. Big fight coming up, pay-per-view against Mikey Garcia. I think this guy can go down as the next Sugar Ray Leonard. And it's interesting because Sugar Ray said he thought that he was going to lose to Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, big time, young guy, not young anymore, 39-0, 30 knockouts. He's coming up 2 weight classes to face Errol Spence. The truth, nobody would face him. I mean, look at these body shots. He goes hard to the body. But I have to tell you, I have a lot of respect for Mikey Garcia. Nobody was trying to step up. This guy, and also you talk about Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder, they fight anybody. A lot of ducking and boxing, but I think this fight could be tremendous. I don't know how he's going to withstand the body punches of this guy. Spence has the weight, he has the reach advantage, and Mikey's going in there with all heart. Mike, what do you think about that?
Well, I think Garcia's not a bad fighter in his weight class.
I think he's great.
Moving up 2 weight classes to fight Spence, that's not a good idea. I don't think, I always thought Sugar Ray Leonard was an overrated boxer.
Oh, here we go.
I know he's an overrated commentator. So there's no way that Garcia is going to beat Spence.
I mean, but, with a body shot, you can almost never tell how these things are going to work out. But, I just think all the advantages are with Errol Spence at the current time, man. He's fast, he's younger, and he's hungry. No one's wanted to fight him. Everybody's looking for him and Terrence Crawford. I think that could be a great fight. But these two should put on something special. And then this weekend there's a big fight on Fox as well. Sean Porter against Ugas. I think that's a solid fight. Boxing's back, Mike.
Yeah, there's a lot of good fights. Unfortunately, they're not in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division is what everybody looks at. If you're just a casual fan, that's what you know. You know who the heavyweight champion is. But if you're a real boxing fan, you know that the good fights are in the middleweights and the welterweights, and they're where you want to watch. But like I said, I don't think that Garcia moving up for 2 weight classes, I don't think he's got anything to do with Spence. And he said he has a lot of hard body shots. If you give me a choice to bust my head or bust one of my ribs, I'll take my head every time.
I hear you. Hey, we do have a phone call already. Let's jump to the phone lines, see what the viewing audience is saying. Caller, say your name, where you're calling from.
This is Claudio calling from my living room, and I'm sick as a dog.
Hey, Claudio, thanks for calling in, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Fellas?
Sick, still making that call.
Got to. I feel something just wasn't right today, me not being there, so I apologize.
Oh, it's all right, man. I'm glad you called in, Claudio. Well, we got to talk about the Pirates, man. Can we expect anything from them?
No.
That was short and easy. Nothing.
They keep talking about the pitching staff. I don't see it. And offensively, I don't see it. I just don't see what they're going to. I think what's the over/under? 79 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to see that. I think it's going to be 69, something like that. I just don't see them doing anything. And then you're thinking about boxing. Boxing is making a nice comeback. But the only thing is, like we've talked numerous times, the guys got to fight each other. Like Wilder, Fury, that should have happened. Joshua should have. I'm tired of him fighting Chisora and Parker and that same old group. Did you hear that Klitschko's going to come back? Maybe.
Man, I heard DAZN is trying to get him for a $40 million contract or something to rematch Joshua. I mean, this guy's in his 40s. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I don't like all these guaranteed contracts, so Fury gets that guaranteed money from ESPN. Now he doesn't want to fight Deontay Wilder. And then I just heard Dillian White signed a guaranteed contract, so who knows he's fighting. They're going to be fighting bums, but they can do that because they already have their money. Yeah. I don't like what's going on.
I wish some of these guys wanted to fight me for $40 million.
Right.
I just don't know where they're going to get all this money. Like I said before, I know Mike's not a fan of Sugar Ray Leonard, but like when Canelo signed that $360 million deal with DAZN, is he really the type of guy that you're going to drop everything for to watch? Whether you like Sugar Ray and Hearns and Duran and Hagler and Tyson and that. Can you imagine what they would have made today?
Oh man, yeah, man. You'd have to break the bank. Yeah,
I don't know where these guys are getting this money, ESPN, because they were hurting for a while. So I don't know where they're getting it, but
you look at it. I think they're pushing this new app. See, a lot of people get it confused that they think it's going to be on ESPN, but it's the app that they're trying to get out there. So I mean, who's really going to watch a Tyson Fury fight? He's one of the most boring heavyweights I've ever seen. Very skilled. He can move for a big guy, 6'9". We haven't seen anybody that could move like that, but he doesn't knock you out. He does a lot of, smiling and all that playing, but he doesn't hit with power. He didn't hurt Wilder one time the entire fight, and he was getting points for running. If he survived, they were just pretty much saying, oh, he won that round because he didn't get knocked out. I mean, but it wasn't like he was doing anything but running and throwing a couple jabs and making it, it was. Exactly. I don't think it was that great of a fight, and I really think he got counted out, and I think he doesn't want to go through that again. People said Wilder didn't. Fury doesn't want to go in. When I heard him talking about brain damage and how, you got to be careful fighting, you got to worry about brain damage. I knew right from there he was not going to fight Deontay Bomb Squad again.
You did call it. Hey, Mike, last thing, I'll let you guys go. What about the Penguins? Are they going to make the playoffs? And if they do, are they going to make any noise?
Well, if they make the playoffs, I think they're going to make a lot of noise. I think they have the best players in the world. And they're not, they're getting older, but they're not losing their skills. Mm-hmm. Personally, I think Murray might be a question at goalie, but I think he's good enough to get them through the playoffs. If they win tomorrow night, I'd say they're pretty much a lock to make the playoffs. Right now, there's a big log jam, like from the 5th position down to the 8th position, where if you win a game, you jump over a couple people. But tomorrow they play Columbus, who is one of the teams they're competing with. And I think if they would win tomorrow night, if they get 2 out of the next 4 points, I believe that they'll make it for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Claudio, before you go, what's going on with the team? What can we expect from CMU this year?
Well, we're young, but you know what? We have a great group of guys who I'll put it to you this way: we were down quite a few runs this fall against a team, and one of my players said to me and to the rest of the team, let's do something that we can tell our grandchildren about. In other words, let's make a huge comeback. So they have no quit in them. Great group of guys. We're leaving for Florida this weekend, so I think we're going to be tough. We're one of those teams that are going to be scrappy, that you don't want to play. I lost the group that won the two championships. A great group of guys.
Right.
These things are cyclical, but we're going to be tough group, and there's always a good group of guys.
Hey, Claudio, if you're still sick on Friday, give me a call. I'll take your team down to Florida.
Right. Room for two.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, man. I feel like I got punched by. I know what Fury felt like.
Oh man, I hear you.
One more question for you. If you're trading Antonio Bell, what do you need back for him?
If Pittsburgh's trading Antonio Brown, originally I thought they would get a number one. I don't think they're going to get a number one. I think they just want to get rid of him. I think they'll get a number two and maybe a number three. Which that might not be bad. I mean, the whole thing's a mess, and that's a whole nother topic with today's guys and saying what they're saying, and I don't know. Where's he going to find a? I mean, I'm not a Roethlisberger fan, but he is a hell of a quarterback. Where is he going to go that he had what he had here?
Exactly.
And then what's he going to do? What's he going to do when the quarterback he has as next stop can't get him the ball or doesn't give him the ball? Is he going to flip out again? Was he going to buy something else blonde? What's he going to do?
And that's what Larry Fitzgerald said. You don't know how good you have it. Larry Fitzgerald's played with some garbage quarterbacks most of his career, and he still put up numbers.
Warner.
Right, one quarterback, exactly. Everybody else was a bum who's not even in the league anymore. And now they think they drafted a bum last year.
Yeah.
And they're back from when they may draft another quarterback this year. So he knows
crazy.
what it's like. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fitzgerald put it to him point blank, and Antonio Brown, no question, is a special player, but just disappointed in the way that he's been behaving the past couple years, and I don't get these guys. Real quick, I remember Joe Theismann, as you guys remember, he said at 9:00 p.m. I was the starting quarterback of the Washington Redskins. At 9:08, I was a has-been. That's how quickly things can change.
That's true.
And in life, and we should be grateful for what we have, our health, our money, our situations in life. And sometimes I wonder if these guys realize that.
Exactly.
But they say that within the next 48 hours they're going to determine, or they're going to make a move. So
that's what they said. By Friday, it'll be determined. He'll be somewhere else. No more black and gold for AB.
Carolina has a shot.
Yeah.
They're starting to say Carolina has a shot.
Carolina.
Yes.
I keep hearing it's Oakland is the leading candidate. But Carolina would be a good spot for him. They've been needing receivers since Steve Smith left, so that would be a good spot for him. So.
Well, it'll be interesting for sure, as always, with him.
Hey, Claudio, it's always good to hear from you, buddy. I hope you feel better and knock them out in Florida.
All right, brother. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Good luck, Claudio.
Hey, let's stay on these phone lines. Caller, say your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, it's Joe Shelby, one of your favorite fans from Glen Hall.
Hey, how you
What's
doing,
up, Joe?
All right, and Claudia, get better soon. I know what it's like to be sick.
Ooh, yeah.
But I want to touch on all three teams.
Okay.
Steelers, once they get rid of the distractions, they are going to be just fine.
Ooh.
I have no doubt.
It's a lot of talent.
Oh, yes. The Penguins, they have a couple injuries, but they got the two-headed monster there, and I have faith in them that they're going to make the playoffs and kick some butt. And then we go to those Pirates, who everybody has doubts about. I'm going to say 88 wins this year. We got our Korean home run hitter back, and we're going to make some noise. Trust me.
Wow. Joe, I mean, I think you're one of the few people in the nation that's saying that. I mean, 88 wins, they're going to make some noise. I don't see it at all. I just think they've lost too much.
The only noise that the Pirates are going to make is Bob Nutting throwing the money into his safe behind that picture on his wall. Because he sure isn't spending any of it on the players, and they're not going to win 88 games in the next 2 years, let alone this year.
Well, ye have little faith. I am a believer. I've been a Pirate fan since I was a kid, and they've had many of years where they didn't win anything, but I think this year they're going to come on strong. So we'll think about that when the season starts, and just remember what I told you, 88 wins.
Okay,
Now,
we
Joey,
got that mark.
when you
Joe.
were a kid, when I was a kid, you had a reason to be a Pirates fan. They always went out, they tried to win. They know they're not going to win this year. They're not going to try to win this year. And if they can dump some more of their salary, they will.
Well, they got the money. They just need the players. So, and the players they have, I think, are qualified. So
Yeah, they've got some good,
Some
real
de-
good
some
players. They
decent
got a
players.
garbage manager.
we'll see what
Hurdle
happens.
couldn't get
I
the
like-
sun up
I
tomorrow if
like
it was up to
Hurdle.
him.
Come on, he doesn't have the players. I don't think he has the players. I've always said I thought he was an okay coach. You guys think
Clint
he's below
Hurdle and Ray
average.
Sears have ruined more players in the last 5 years than they've ever helped do anything. They've ruined players.
Who'd they ruin?
Oh,
They ruined them?
They left James McDonald out there to give up 10 runs in one inning, and he was never the same after that.
Oh, that, or maybe
They
he
had
didn't,
home
maybe
run
he didn't have
hitters,
it.
home run hitters that they drafted because they're home run hitters, and then they told them, oh, wait till the ball gets deeper in the box. Change your batting stance.
That
Do
was-
this, do that.
that was-
They
they
bring
messed up
pitchers
a
in
few.
that are great pitchers and tell them, don't throw that pitch anymore. Start throwing this pitch and this pitch. They drafted them because they were successful with this pitch, but they don't want them to do that anymore. They're goofy.
Well, I
So they
know
destroy
there's
players.
A lot of people that don't like the coach and the management.
Well, the management I could agree with. Hurdle, I think he's doing the best what he can with the talent that's there. I mean, I don't.
What
You
he
could put
has.
anybody there and they weren't winning.
With what he has, I agree. He's dealing with it, and he's keeping his cool. And I just have a lot of faith in him this year.
Okay.
We'll see if they get off some money and get some better players. But just remember what I said, gentlemen.
All right, Joe, I appreciate it. I
I'll
hope
tell
you're
you what,
right.
They could give me half the money that Hurdle's making, and I'll get into that job, and I'll win the same amount of playoff games that he's going to win this year.
All right, gentlemen, you have a good evening.
All right, Joe.
Talking with you.
All right,
All
Joe,
right, thanks,
take
Joe.
it easy.
Appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
All right. Man, 88 wins. I didn't see that coming from him. 88 wins? What?
Joe's that kind of guy. He said that the Steelers are going to do good next
I
year,
think
too.
the Steelers are going to do good next year. They're
With
gonna-
what?
Hey, what you got
They're
Ben?
doing good this year.
Yeah, they
had
had a
Ben.
rough year. They
They
had a
had
rough year.
Ben.
It was a Le'Veon Bell hangover. You know, they kept thinking he was going to come back. Those
How long
first
was
4
Bell
games.
here?
Listen, man,
How many years was he here?
doesn't matter.
5,
He's-
6,
was
something
he the-
like that?
Is he the best back in the
How
game?
how many years was the Antonio Brown here?
Who's the
5,
best-
6,
and they're the
whatever.
best
Yeah,
players
the
in the
best,
game.
the best back, the best, whatever, wide receiver. And then they got Roethlisberger, who was here doing all that team too. And you know what they won when Bell and Brown were here? Nothing.
All right. And
Nothing. No Super Bowls.
Well, they won it with Ben. I think he can go out like a Peyton Manning. Hopefully they get a nice receiver. Metcalf would look great in a Steelers uniform if they can get that pick. They got to get a number 1 pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, number to call, 412-231-2288. We're talking about Antonio Brown. We got a picture. He's been making the rounds. Can we run Antonio Brown? I don't know, Mike. I mean, there he is. He changed his mustache and looks like a peacock. And he even clowned himself and had him next to his seal I saw this morning on his page. What do you think? What is his deal? Is he trying to get a new contract? I know he keeps bringing that up.
Yeah,
What do you think, man?
I
This
think
is-
he's probably trying.
He looks
to,
ridiculous.
Basically, he's trying to get more money. But with everything that he does on social media and stuff, his money's going down, not up. I can't blame him for wanting to leave the Steelers, but I can't blame the Steelers for wanting to get rid of him either. So, you know, I don't, like I said, as long as he was here, the Steelers didn't win anything. So he could be the best wide receiver in history, but if you can't win, you can't win.
You know, I could
That's-
do
that's
with
how
all.
it
I could
goes.
do with all the antics that the cars, the Stiller cars, flying in on a helicopter. You know, it was always about himself. The part of the Steelers training camp. What is AB going to do? How is he going to come to camp? Every year was always about himself. They're going to the championship. he's Facebook Living in the daggone locker room.
Wow.
Not even paying attention to what's going on. Naked players running behind him. He doesn't care as long as he's in the place. You know, it's time for the sideshow to go. Send that guy to Oakland, but they have to get a number 1 pick. If they don't get a number 1 pick, I think it's a blown opportunity. Yes, he's 30. They got to get rid of him because the longer and longer it goes, the more he's bringing down his value. Interview after interview, he's looking crazier and crazier, talking nuts. You know, he's saying he doesn't have to play anymore. Team's going to have to play by his rules. You know, somebody has to bring this guy down. I mean, you're not Jerry Rice. He's very good,
No,
but he's not Jerry Rice. He's not T.O., and he's not Randy Moss. We'll see what he does with another quarterback. I'm interested to see.
Yeah,
I know when Big Ben wasn't playing, his numbers didn't look so good.
Yeah, well, there's some good quarterbacks out there, but I don't think they're on the team he's going to. The whole situation, I think that he just wants to make more money. He was with a team that wasn't paying him as much as he wanted to be paid, and he's under contract, so he needs to get traded. He need to get out of here somewhere to get a different contract. But the Steelers, I think, are just the same fool that Antonio Brown is. Okay, they're putting out, if you want him, you got to make an offer right now, and the deadline is Friday. You know, if Friday comes and they're not getting what they want, they'll keep him until next Friday. That's not going to get done right now because the Steelers say so, unless they want to give him away, which supposedly they don't.
Right. They would have.
If the Steelers were smart, which I've never ever accused them of being smart, but if they were, they would have put the tag on Bell and they would package Brown and the rights to Bell and trade up in the draft. Trade up far enough in the draft that maybe they can get a decent outside linebacker, outside defensive end that can rush the passer. Their defense is just terrible. They need linebackers, they need a defensive line, and they really, really need cornerbacks. They might be able to get the cornerback with their 20th pick, but they're not going to get what they want as far as pass rusher unless they draft down under 5.
I agree. I mean, but you know, pass rushing, they did pretty well sacking the quarterback. You know, they could. That's one thing they could do last year was get pressure on the quarterback, get some sacks. So they were okay on that end. Corners, linebackers, yes, they definitely need help. But I think they got to get that number 1 pick for AB. Anything less would just be just crazy. You know, you're basically giving them away. And I think Friday they just want to get rid of them because it's hanging over their head. Last year they saw what Le'Veon Bell hanging over their head did to the team. Now they'll be going with both of them.
Right, but coming out and saying, okay, well, it has to be done by Friday. These other teams aren't saying, oh, boy, we better do something. They're laughing at them. See, you're going to do it when you do it. It's not going to get done by Friday unless you get what you want.
Mike, the offers are coming in.
The offers have been coming in.
But now
they're
you
not
say,
going to rush it.
No
team's going to rush it because
if you really
the Steelers
want
said
AB,
so.
you're going to do it. I think Jay Gruden, he has all those number 1 picks. If he can flip one of those picks for an AB, I think he's going to do it. Chucky, that's what he wants to do. He wants to make a big splash because of what happened last year. He's going to go out there and I think overpay and do what he needs to do to get AB.
Well,
that 24. Look for that. The 27th pick, I think, is what it'll take for the Raiders to get him. Let's jump back to these phone calls. Caller, say your name, where you're calling from. Hello, caller, you on the air?
It's LD.
What's up, LD?
LD, how you doing?
I'm fine. I was just wondering, any news on Le'Veon Bell?
As far as we've heard, nothing yet. There's a lot of teams, talking to him. I heard the Jets are one of the ones that will make a big offer. But everybody, he's the hottest free agent out there, him, and then maybe Earl Thomas. So no news yet, but I heard the Jets are really high on him. A couple other teams. I even heard Green Bay was sniffing around Le'Veon Bell.
He'd be a good player in Houston, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. But their line is pretty bad in Houston. You pay Le'Veon Bell all that money and you don't have an offensive line. Watson's getting killed back there already. It'd be wasted money unless they do something with that offensive line. Houston had one of the worst in the playoffs last year.
And speaking of the offensive line, they always say the Steelers have such a great offensive line.
They do.
But when they're say at the 1 or 2 yard line, a lot of times they can't punch it in.
Because they're in shotgun. They get to the goal line. They want to put Ben, cause a play for him to go to shotgun so he can throw for a touchdown. Very rarely are they, under the center, rushing the ball 4 times. I think it's more scheme. But when you can get a guy, Le'Veon Bell's great, and you put corner back there and he goes to the Pro Bowl. Then he gets hurt. You put another guy back there. He gets the first 100 games in his yards rushing in his career. I think that offensive line is solid. Got to keep them together. I think they're solid. Not the best, but they're definitely top 5.
That's right. I think they're a very good offensive line, too. And Luther's right. I don't remember the last time that they were on the 1 yard line and they actually ran the ball.
Well, against Denver, they tried a 1 yard pass.
Yeah. And Ben throws it to the defensive player and blames the route. I remember that.
And I believe that was when the problem started with Brown. When Ben said, if I had a chance, I would have thrown it to Juju 4 times.
Yeah, that was terrible. Basically, Ben uses that show as, every week, who's he going to throw under the bus now? He throws coaches, he throws players, rookies, all pros. I mean, he went from AB, then he went to calling the James Washington. He's got to stop doing that. He's not being a good leader. I never thought he was a good leader. Great player, terrible leader. And Colbert, doesn't see it as a problem. That's a terrible leader, in my opinion.
The biggest problem is you had Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger, who are both drama queens. And they couldn't get enough of their own press without the other guy. Right? When Antonio Brown gets signed and he's all over the news, I guarantee you that the next day Roethlisberger will be in the news telling he's thinking about retiring.
Right.
Which he's not thinking about retiring, but he's got to have that newspaper article.
Do you think Big Ben's going to sign a big contract?
No.
He'll sign a solid contract. I mean, nothing that's going to, prevent them. Because already when they trade AB, they're going to take like a $20 million hit. He'll sign a nice contract. Nothing to break the bank about, but it'll be a nice contract, for the next 3 years, I guess. Possibly has 3 good years left.
Yeah, a friend of mine was telling me the Giants, they let an all-pro safety go today.
Yeah, Collins. That would be a huge pickup, but I don't know if the Steelers could afford him right now with that big hit they're going to take from trading AB. But it'd be great if they could get him here.
That's for sure. And my last comment is the Celtics really did a job on the Warriors last night.
Woo!
And it's my opinion that the Celtics could beat them in a 7-game series. Only thing,
they're not getting out of the East.
Might not get out of the East.
Right. But see, last night, you got to remember, the Golden State Warriors, they're going through the motion. They've been to the championship the last 5 years. And what people don't understand, Klay Thompson didn't play, and he might be one of the most important players. Because if he's there, he's watching Kyrie Irving. He's shutting that down. He's their best defender, their second best shooter, and you can't leave him in the corner. So that they beat Golden State, they crushed them, but they were playing half-hearted, and they didn't have Klay Thompson. So you got to take that with a grain of salt.
Okay, but I'm telling you, if Boston will move the ball and Kyrie doesn't hog the ball, that's a tough team.
Yeah, Kyrie not hog the ball. Come on, it's all about Kyrie. He said that he wanted to get away from LeBron because he wanted his own team, So I don't see that happening. He's the main problem I see with that team. He wants it to be all about him, and Boston is better when they're spreading the ball around and everybody's getting the opportunity to shine. But he won't let that happen in the playoffs. Just watch.
Well, that's a lot of ifs. If me and Luther could both run and dunk, we'd be a hell of a team, too. But
Hey, one question before I go. Where's Josh Harrison playing, and who's he playing for?
I did see where he signed. Was it Detroit? He signed a 1-year deal. I'll look that up before we get out. But, yeah, I think that was a bad loss as well. I mean, I think they should have kept him. He wasn't really expensive, and he was just a guy who always hustled and gave you everything he had. Part of the going to the games was just seeing him get out there, run around the bases, make something happen. Man, he's a guy who's definitely going to be missed. but he only signed a 1-year deal. I think it was Detroit, but I'll get you the update before we get off the air.
Right. I really miss him. Okay, take it easy.
Real quick, LD, real quick.
Yeah.
LeBron James looks like he's going to miss the playoffs with the Lakers. What are your thoughts about that?
I think they're going to miss the playoffs, but I'm kind of glad. I want him to get ready for next year when he has a decent team around him.
Are we looking at the end? Is he at the end? I mean, he's breaking down. He looks big out there.
Well, if he's breaking down, he's averaging 26 points a game, 9 and 8 rebounds and assists. If he's breaking down, hey, I want to see a superstar.
Man, well, him and all those other injuries, it looks like Kuzma's hurt again, Ingram's hurt, Ball's still hurt. Man, I mean, they're talking about getting rid of Luke Walton, maybe the trainer as well. None of those guys can stay healthy, LD.
Yeah, they had a tough year. Christmas Day, they were winning that game against the Warriors. Mm-hmm. After that game, they went downhill.
Right, and that's where LeBron got hurt. He got hurt in the third quarter. They ended up winning that game and then went on a long losing streak. But I don't know if they were also playing a lot of easier teams back then. So,
yeah, but they were playing well.
They were playing well.
Yeah, and they played a little bit of defense.
Just a little bit. And LeBron is playing no defense. I mean, that's one of my favorite players of all time, but he's playing no defense. I saw a play where Kyle Kuzma had to push him to go play defense or the guy shoot the jumper. Just the whole morale, the trade rumors really affected that team. I don't think Luke Walton was the right guy for that job. They probably should have let him go before the season. It just was a bad mix. Not enough shooting. Luke Walton was playing for his job, and it just didn't work.
Just one comment. The three-point line should be moved a foot back further.
That won't hurt Steph Curry. You can move it to half court.
But it would hurt the other players.
Okay.
Take it easy, fellas.
All right, LD, thanks for the call.
You're welcome.
All right, we got LD. Let's stay on the phone. Last caller, say your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sean.
Hey,
What's
what's
up,
going on, Sean?
Oh, not much, man. Just taking it easy, guys.
All right. What's on your mind, man?
First things first, I think Le'Veon and Antonio Brown played their cards wrong with the Steelers.
Ooh, okay.
The reason why I say this is, no. Let me take that back. Le'Veon, I think the Steelers played him wrong.
Okay.
Before the playoff game last year against Jacksonville, when he told the media in an interview that if he gets tagged again, he may not play, they should have traded him before the draft last year.
I agree.
Now, you didn't have him play this year. He's going to a team next year, and you won't get a pick for him until 2020. So you wasted 3 years that you could have got value from one of your 5 best players on the team.
Right. I wish they would have signed him. I think he's that good. But if you weren't going to sign him, he already told you, like you said, he'd rather sit out than play under the franchise tag again next year. So he told him, before the year even started. But they thought he was bluffing, and well, you see it blew up in the Steelers' faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, I think if he wouldn't have quit on the team last game of the season, I could see some of the things that he's doing. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he do, but once you quit on your team, and with Mike Tomlin being the head coach and what the Steelers have done for Antonio Brown as far as giving him more money on top of what his salary was, moving money around to give him more money, he disrespected the organization.
They've been more than good for him.
Yeah,
they covered up a lot of his, a lot of his mistakes too. There's a lot of things that didn't come out. But,
And he better be careful because depending what team he go to, it may not be the same. Grass ain't green on the other side. So
right. Hey, Larry Fitzgerald's trying to tell him.
Yeah. So whatever issues that he had, I wish he would have tried to handle them in-house. One thing that is interesting, notice his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, has not said anything to the media.
That's true.
So if he ain't saying anything, he must not agree with the way Antonio's going about this.
Yeah, I mean, remember we know T.O. was famous for being one of his clients, and it did seem like Drew was way out there more back then. T.O. would do his thing, but you would also have Drew Rosenhaus doing his thing as well, trying to get him to different situations. But this one, it looks like it's all AB out there doing interviews, the social media, hanging with James Harrison. I don't know. I mean, but he must be on board, or maybe AB's just just doing what he needs to.
The situation's kind of a little bit different because AB is under contract.
True.
So, Rosenhaus really doesn't have that much to say about it. He probably is not going to say anything about it until he actually gets traded because he doesn't hurt the possibility of a trade. And then once he gets traded and they start demanding more money, Rosenhaus will pop up then.
All right, but a couple of those times, I think T.O. had a contract too because he was talking about he wasn't the one who threw up at the Super Bowl when he was with Philly, trying to get more money. So I don't know. But Drew, anytime Rosenhaus is involved, expect some insanity and some wild stuff because that's how he handles his business.
Well, they were trying to open up a gym in T.O.'s driveway at the time, weren't they?
Doing something there. Hey, LD, what do you think about the fights? Sean, what do you think about the fights this weekend? Sean Porter against Ugas, and then maybe Errol Spence. We know you have history with Errol Spence as well.
Yeah, it looks like Porter should win this match, and then Errol Spence should win next week. He should have a home crowd advantage in Dallas, even though, the Mexican fans will come out in Dallas for Mikey Garcia.
Right.
So that weight class division, 147 pounds, is going to be interesting because now you got Pacquiao back, Thurman's talking,
Crawford, all these guys
still there. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
Even Danny Garcia still, right?
Yeah, Danny Garcia's still there, but he ain't been beat Thurman or Porter. So until he beats one of the tops, he's.
But you're absolutely right. But those fights, especially the Porter fight, that was really close. It wasn't like he got wiped out by Porter. If he's more aggressive, I think he could have won some of these fights. But he's so much of a counter puncher, he's not busy enough. So.
Yes. And as far as the heavyweight division concerned, look at it this way. Anthony Joshua is being a money-hungry a-hole. Excuse my language. The reason why I say that is because the stuff he pulled to Deontay Wilder, the stuff he's pulled to Tyson Fury, the things he's pulled to Dillian White, and also the things he pulled with I don't think he wants to fight Luis Ortiz.
No.
And the things he's pulled with Big Baby Miller, and that DAZN had to pay Big Baby Miller extra money to make the fight go through. A lot of people don't know that.
$7 million for Big Baby. That's a huge pay raise.
But he had to get an extra $3 to $4 million. DAZN paid him that. Joshua wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to say is Anthony Joshua needs to be careful. I understand you got all the belts. That's fine and dandy. But you're going to have to, if you want to be a great fighter, you got to come to America and fight as well. Mm-hmm. And he's going to have to get off his high horses, him and Eddie Hearn, and they're going to have to give a little something. Because if they're not, they're going to continue to have to fight bumps.
Right. Hey, you know what? I agree. I just think, right now we're seeing a lot of these, and Lennox Lewis called it, these UK heavyweights are coming over here and they're getting exposed as cowards. Anthony Joshua should have fought Wilder. They're lowballing guys. Like you said, they lowballed their own guy, Dillian White, wanted to pay him $3 and $4 million, but they ended up paying Miller $7. And then Fury, what he did, it's obvious he didn't want to have another match with Wilder. He felt that pressure, he felt that heat, and I don't think we'll ever see that fight. I think Fury's satisfied with the contract. He'll fight a bunch of bums and maybe fight Dillian White and then retire. But I think Wilder has him scared, running away. But I see him just running through Brazil May 18th when they fight. And then hopefully we get Anthony Joshua and Wilder at the end of the year because Joshua's pretty much boxed in. Fury and White are with ESPN. The only one he can do is Ortiz or maybe Wilder at the end of the year. Everybody else is not on his level. So in a way, that may be a good thing that Fury and White went there, because we might get the fight we all want to see, which is Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. And I have Wilder knocking him out.
Early.
I don't know, man.
Yes.
But it should be good, man. The heavyweight, if things go right, the heavyweight division should be back for a couple years now. There's some young guys on the horizon, Joe Joyce, Dubois. Those guys are solid, up-and-comers. So, it should be some good heavyweight fights for the next couple years.
Yes.
All right, Sean, it was good seeing you at some of the high school games, man. What you think about Alderdice? You think they could make some noise? I mean, this is the team.
I think they can. Guard play is going to be key.
Yes.
Whoever's going to have good guard play will make it out of 6A West. Coatesville, they're on the western side of the bracket in Harrisburg. Kennedy Catholic, they may have a tough draw in second round against Pine Richland because they can shoot. Alderdice, they just can't come to play. They got if Alderdice plays, I think they'll make at least the state quarterfinals.
Okay.
That's the key.
That's the key.
It's going to be interesting to see how things shape up in the future. We'll just leave it at that. We don't want to go into details.
Yeah, it could be some changes. You're right.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
No, I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out after the basketball season's over. We'll just leave it at that.
Hey, you know what? Hey, you're absolutely right, man. In a couple weeks, people will understand exactly what you were talking about, Sean.
One more thing. It's going to be interesting. We could touch on this real quick. I got to get going. Let me throw this out there, and you can run with it. Looks like Westinghouse will have a new football coach. I'll let you run with it.
I saw that, yeah.
We'll have a new football coach.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, Monte Robinson looks like he has another job with Pittsburgh Public Schools, so he'll be doing that. And I saw a couple posts. I guess Dante Green, Westinghouse alumni, is interested, and people are pushing for that. We'll see. It's a lot of changes could be coming to City League football, hopefully for the better.
Yes.
But it's a shame that I wish he could stay on if he wants to continue coaching. But
yes,
you never know, man.
Have a good
Sean,
one now.
we'll have to see, man. Thank you for bringing that up, though.
Okay.
All right, Sean.
Have a good night,
Appreciate
Sean.
the call. Hey, let's stay on the phone. Last caller. Say your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, gentlemen, it's Kelly Russell.
Kelly,
What's up,
the
Kelly?
political assassin. What's going on?
I can't possibly follow up Sean's call, but I will agree with him in certain regards that the 6A playoff will be interesting, and I'm hoping things do play out in the matchup he said in the second round. If it's Pine Richland versus Kennedy Catholic, the way Pine Richland shoots that basketball, Kennedy might have the inside presence with Big Oscar, but as we've seen at times with the NBA, you might have Pine Richland has the shooters that can match up the inside presence with Oscar and a couple other the big fellas that Kennedy has. So that could be a really good game.
Really, Kelly, you think? I think Kennedy Catholic, Pine Richland better be on, because
That's what I'm
they have to be on. Not just a good game, they have to have their A++ game, because Kennedy Catholic is loaded. I was impressed with the showing that Alderdice had last weekend, but I don't know. I just think Kennedy Catholic's too loaded. Oscar is just going to be too much of a problem for Pine Richland. I just don't see it. I've only seen Pine Richland once, so.
That's what I'm saying. If they have one of those good shooting games, it could be interesting.
They got to have a Villanova versus Georgetown shooting games to beat, in my opinion.
Hey, I go back to when we were doing the broadcast. A classic example, granted, it's just one player versus a good team, but T.J. McConnell and Char Valley against, help me out here, Luther. Carl Abigail's team, your favorite coach, Newman Goretti.
Oh, Newman Goretti, right.
Right. T.J., if that three had been off balance, T.J. would have shot his team to the state championship.
You're right. I forgot about that, yeah. Always got love for TJ, man.
Right. And then even the Pine, granted, the final score was like 6 points, but even the Pine Richmond team from a few years ago that lost to Reading in the state championship game.
Oh, right, yeah.
Reading may have had the horses and Lonnie Walker and a couple of other players, but Pine Richmond shooting is what kept them in that game.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, and Lonnie Walker had to make some big plays at the end to kind of pull them out. You're right.
But
Lonnie Walker was great.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's on Oscars a different type of animal.
Hey, that's true. Big man versus guard play. What you going to do?
Right. But we'll see. It should be interesting.
I agree. Let's see where the chips fall. Hit the ball. Let's see where the chips fall.
Right. Hey, Kelly, I got to ask you, man, about this AB situation.
My thoughts? I'm ready for him to go. I don't know if they're going to get a first-round pick outside of the Raiders for a 31-year-old wide receiver.
He's 30 right now. But it'll be, like you said, 31 maybe during the season. But still, they got to get a first. I mean, 15 touchdowns. He led the league. You know, they have to get rid of him now because the way he's acting so erratic, he may do something else to really just crash his value. I think that's why they want to get it done by Friday. I mean, every time he goes on an interview, he says something wild, something crazier. He looks even crazier. They got to get him out of here. And I think that's why they're like, we got to get him out by Friday before he does something stupid, throws some more stuff out of a window and hits a kid. I mean, yeah. Who knows, you know?
Well, Avita saying goodbye.
Right? Yeah, he might be racing in Midnight Road again and hit somebody. So they got to get him out of here.
And the funny thing is, I remember when we had the Le'Veon Bell situation at the beginning of the year, I said that he needed some real live bumps. I think that both of them need some real live bumps. In translation, for people who don't know what that means, some kicks to the butt.
All right.
You're right. It's just he's a mental head case, and I don't know what's going on with him mentally, but
I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening wherever he goes because the Steelers have been great to him. You know, he had a coach that, you know, really helped him a lot and covered a lot of things up for him. I think somewhere else he could really be in a lot of trouble, and players might really be going against him. It could be a disastrous situation. He has it great here. Fitzgerald tried to tell him, you have a great quarterback, organization that supports you, even after all your stupidity. They're still right there with you, and you want to leave that? Okay. Let them go to the Raiders. See what happens.
Hey, remember, it happened to Randy Moss.
Yeah.
I think in certain regards, Randy Moss going to the Raiders helped humbled him a little bit.
He got humbled. Yeah, he played with a terrible quarterback. It was like, oh, man. Everybody thought he was done until he got with Tom Brady again.
Right.
That's a definitely good point.
Hey, I'm in agreement when you were making those points earlier in regards to what Larry Fitzgerald was trying to tell him, and a point you mentioned earlier in regards to any time he played with Landry, when Landry was in there, Landry never had the connection with AB that Ben had with AB.
Exactly.
So he may have forgotten about that.
Exactly. We saw Martavis Bryant making play after play, but AB really struggled when Ben wasn't there. People don't realize that because, you know, the last couple of years Ben's been pretty much healthy, but when Jones was in there or other quarterbacks were in there, he struggled. You're right.
So, well, you know something? I hope it works out for all the parties involved because, as y'all also said, he just wants to get paid. And so you want to get paid, go to see if you can find your greener pastures elsewhere. Good luck to you. And don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be a whole different vibe. I mean, no Bell, no Brown. You know, maybe it'll be more of a team atmosphere. I don't know. You know, Ben's going to have to stop calling these players out, too, before somebody really gets upset. And it'll be more than somebody throwing a football at him. It might be a punch or something else coming at Big Ben. I mean, hopefully this is a wake-up call for him as well.
And I'm hoping for a couple of the younger players, too, namely Juju and James Conner. Because we've already seen with Juju's antics. He's very out there on social media. I'll just put it like that. But from what I've also heard in the media, that James Conner at times has been feeling himself a little bit more than he should be. So hopefully AB and now Bell gone will help get these two future stars in check as well.
Yeah,
You figure they both just made the Pro Bowl second year.
right.
I realized Juju got in there after,
AB
got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, AB got hurt, but still, second year, both made the Pro Bowl. You might be feeling yourself a little bit too much, and you need to be humble.
Right. Let's hope
Maybe getting
AB
these bad
didn't.
influences out will help.
Yeah, let's hope AB didn't poison him too much. I mean, AB was always on that social media, but Juju seems like a different personality. I remember I saw him catching football passes at the mall a couple weeks ago with some high school kids. So I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, their personality's not so me focused, and this is a wake up call for them as well. A lot of things got to get in order. Tomlin, Colbert, everybody got to get on the same track and don't blow it. You get a first round pick, 2 picks in the first round, they have to get some real dogs, some guys that could make plays, not an Artie Burns, not a Terrell, not an Edmonds. You need some players, a Juju, a TJ Watt, guys that are going to be part of your big time future and present.
Right. And Luther, you brought up another point. Now, after Art II did his interview on The Fan, I was like, I can never criticize Tomlin again because the owner was just so out there in left field. I thought I was listening to Bob Nutting. But between Rooney, Tomlin, and Colbert, those are the three. I so wholeheartedly agree with you that they have swung and missed on too many draft picks in regards to Colbert and Tomlin. And the owner, we can't change owners as we've seen within baseball. So the owner's out there, but I definitely think a lot more. It would be nice if more heat came on Tomlin and Colbert in regards to their failures with this team over the last 8 years.
Well, you know what? When Colbert starts saying there's 52 kids and Ben is the leader, I got a problem. Has he seen some of Ben? Has he seen Ben's rap sheet? He's the leader and everybody else is a kid. There's 52 of those other guys have a clean sheet, but they're the kids and Ben is the leader. Come on. He even said Ben could call him out. That's what really got me. Ben could call you out too? Okay. All right, let's check rap sheets and see what's going on. But yeah, things got to get in order. I think Colbert really needs to be under some heat as well. A lot of the draft picks haven't panned out, and he needs to take some heat. Tomlin, I think, takes heat, but you can't knock his record. He has to clean up some stuff as well. He had a terrible year last year. This is the telltale year. These me players are gone, and now they got to step up and get back to playing Steeler football. We'll see what happens, though, Kel.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting time. I know y'all got to go soon. Mike, I know LD had asked you about the Penguins earlier, but I'll just ask this question a month from now. Will at least one team make the playoffs, or will it be, 2006 again, where no teams made the playoffs?
The Penguins will make the playoffs.
Okay.
In fact, I could see the Penguins going pretty far in the playoffs.
There you go. Hey, Kel, always a pleasure, man.
Fellas, it's always a pleasure. Y'all have a good one. I'll get with y'all later on.
All right, thanks. Peace.
So one more about the Penguins. Don't be surprised if they actually win the division. They're only 4 points behind.
Okay. All right. Hey, let's jump to the phone call, get this last caller in before we have to wrap up. Caller, say your name, where you're calling from. Oh, looks like we lost that caller. We touched on a lot of things, Mike. Any last thoughts on some of the things we talked about? What do you think as we make this prediction? Where do you think AB ends up, and what pick do we get if we get a pick?
I mean, everybody's talking like he's going to Oakland. If he goes to Oakland, then you ought to get one of their first-round picks. Maybe you package something up like maybe a washed-up quarterback or something with him and try to get the number 4 pick and start getting the defensive players that you need. Personally, I would love to see him go to a team where he's not going to do anything at all, with a bad quarterback and a bad offensive line. But whatever, he's going to do his thing. He's going to get his money, and he'll be forgotten. He's probably a Hall of Fame player, but maybe some of this stuff at the end of his career will maybe pull that back from him. So you never know what's going to go on with that. As far as the Pirates, like you said before, they've got some good players. Josh Bell is a good player. Gung is a good player if he can stay out of trouble. Marte is a good player. They got Archer and Tyon and on their pitching staff. After that, who knows? But they've got the players. They just they need to spend some more money. I mean, they need a second baseman now. I don't know if the Steinfeld brothers, Kramer and what's his name is going to make a big deal, or not, Kramer and Newman. But if not, you got to go out. You got to get a couple of players and help your team out. And the Pirates just aren't willing to do that.
Right. What's the Gong?
Gong?
He's finally back. They let him come back. Somebody, his translator, they need to just let him ride Lyft, Uber, whoever. Just don't let him behind the wheel at all. And stay with him at all the time. Because I don't even know if the situation in Chicago was wrapped up. I think that's still under investigation.
That's probably got away from that being out of the country.
I did want to touch on
Kyler.
Go ahead. I did want to touch on Kyler Murray. What are your thoughts on him, the quarterback out of Oklahoma?
I think he's the number one pick. I mean, I don't think
The height doesn't scare you?
No, I think he's going to go first.
Okay.
There's a few good quarterbacks in the draft, but I think he's going first.
Okay. I mean, there was a 5'10" quarterback that went last year, Baker Mayfield. He really came on at the end. He did all right. So I think they may go back to back. Leaking from Oklahoma may have two players going number one overall, but definitely it's going to be interesting. I think Arizona goes and gets him, and I think Rosen will be on the trade block. Maybe the Steelers can go out and get him as the quarterback of the future. Who knows? Hey, that being said, I want to thank all the callers. Make sure you check us out on our website, scsportsworld.com. For Mike, I'm Luther, Claudio, Smoker Jim. Get better. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
Good job.
Good job.